So, recently I decided to sell a few requests for One Hit Wonderland on Patreon again. You know, just randomly, on a whim, just thought I'd sell some favors, no real reason. The IRS? Actually, maybe I should answer that. No, I don't give a fuck, Anyway, it actually sold out like in 4 minutes. Like, so quickly that I wound up honoring more requests than I originally intended. So, for pretty much the rest of the year, One Hit Wonderland is going to be requests. Yay. You guys give me such interesting requests. Most of them not one-hit wonders, so this should be fun. Let's see what the first person sent me. Not a one-hit wonder. No. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. That's the good stuff. God, I love my fans. Welcome back to One Hit Wonderland, yeah. The Darkness! Won't be trying that again. Anyway, let me take you back to 2003, the single best year ever for music, because I was 19 and music will never sound as good to me again. And a big part of it was this band, The Darkness. In fact, it kind of pains me to be including this band in the show because they are certainly more than one-hit wonders to me. Although I do concede that to most of you they are not. They should be so much more than that. A goofy, retro 80s metal band with kick-ass guitar and a leotard-wearing frontman with a bad case of British teeth and a falsetto into the stratosphere. Who couldn't love them? Well, actually, quite a few people didn't like them at all. A lot of people thought their goofiness and irony made them incredibly obnoxious. I was not one of them, because goofy or not, they had conviction. Whether you treated them as a novelty or not, you could still headbang to them totally sincerely. And nothing sounded like this. It was so awesome. I mean, there were a few retro rock bands out there, but they were like, Buck Cherry and stuff like that. Bands that were trying for something more serious, not The Darkness, who were more inspired by the kind of music that requires you to wear skin-tight spandex jumpers. Something that squeezes your testes hard enough for you to hit the high notes. But like I said, most of you don't remember them for anything but this one song, at least if you're American. And especially if you're the average age of one of my fans. They believed in the thing called love. Why didn't we believe in them? The Darkness! Frankie Pulane on bass, Rufus Tiger Taylor on drums, Dan Hawkins on guitar, and his brother on lead vocals, the man with the voice to shatter your windows, the one, the only, Justin Hawkins. In fact, in my research, I found some of his early solo work, the stuff that would send him on his road to heavy metal stardom.
Slumping is for you, slumping is to me. When I slump, I can be at one with the gravity. Starts with an S, ends in a B. When we slump, we can be at one with the gravity.
What the hell was that? Okay, after his career writing inane jingles for IKEA, he started his band. Spell it out!
Give me a D!
D!
Give me an R!
Darkness! Now, like a lot of bands I cover on this show, they were a much bigger deal in their home country than they were over here. This is their first single, Get Your Hands Off of My Woman.
Get your hands off like my woman, motherfucker! Get your hands off like my woman!
It wasn't huge, but it did start getting them their buzz, and it's a real crowd favorite in concerts. This is actually one of my less favorite Darkness songs, honestly. I mean, the ingredients are there, it's fun, it's silly, crunchy guitars, ear-splitting falsetto, but it doesn't really work for me. It's mostly an excuse to yell motherfucker at the top of your lungs. I'm much more of a fan of their follow-up, Growing on Me. As you can see, they are really starting to build their image with the more self-consciously ironic music videos. It's getting there. It's not quite perfect yet, but you know, they do land in pods when their spaceship crashes because a pterodactyl has sex with it. I love this song. Lyrically, it's not like anything groundbreaking. It's pretty straightforward. It's a love song, although there were rumors that it was a reference to STDs, because a lot of people are goddamn idiots. It's already a novelty band. You don't have to impose your own terrible attempts at humor onto them. Off this album, I'd also recommend Black Shuck. The whole album is good, but there's one moment on it that outshone all the rest. This is how most of us in this country were introduced to the Darkness. We didn't get to watch them climb that mountain, we started right at the peak. Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel. The Darkness' biggest song is also easily their best. Nothing encapsulated what made them great better than this song. I honestly don't know what else I could add to this. It's one of those songs that's just so boringly perfect that there's not really a lot to say about it. It rocked. What else do you want to know? In fact, this was a good time in general for bands who wanted to make hard rock that was so over the top it went past ironic and back into like sincere again. I mean, we had Andrew WK, we had Electric Six, and it's worth noting that I actually didn't hear any of those acts much on the rock stations, which did still exist back then. I heard about the Darkness entirely through word of mouth. The only retro rock band from overseas they had time for was Jet. Because why play a band that actually has their own sound when we could listen to those talentless hacks shit up the place? Jet flat sucked, everyone. Good riddance. And look, yes, for you small portion of Darkness haters, yes, I get that they were kind of a joke. On one level, comparing the original Metal Gods to them is like comparing Jaws to Sharknado. But the important thing is that even though they sounded silly, they still put everything they had into it. This will get me executed in some circles, but I never really liked Tenacious D. They never backed up their silly posturing with any real muscle. Tenacious D were trying to sound stupid. The Darkness don't care if they sound stupid. That's a crucial difference. Really, isn't that what the Darkness' heroes were all about? Being unafraid of looking ridiculous? Being a joke band is okay. Look at their most obvious influence, Queen. Queen were a joke band a lot of the time. If you had never heard of them, Scaramouche, do the Fandango would be the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. But it works because they believed in themselves just like the Darkness. And any band that introduces a kick-ass guitar solo by shouting, "Guitar!" is alright in my book. And the music video, of course, they absolutely nailed. It was everything I could have hoped for. The outfits, the cheesy special effects, everything works. Except maybe the drummer there. What is this? You're not even trying. Come on, dude, you're in the Darkness. A t-shirt isn't gonna cut it. And then it all ends with a guitar solo awesome enough to kill alien monsters. Which is honestly how I always imagined awesome guitar solos already. But yeah, this is literally how I imagined my favorite songs when I was 15. Let's face it, it was all downhill from here. I was never really clear why they picked this as their follow-up single. I guess that's a total metal move, you know, release the power ballad after you've established your rock credentials. But still, is this really what people wanted from this band? It's so serious. And the video, I mean, I guess the Indian get-ups, that's kind of charmingly early 90s cheesy, but still, posing on a cliff? What is this, a Creed video? Where's the aliens and shit? If you ask me, the song they should have released after this was Friday Night, which is less metal and more like, you know, Cheap Trick style power pop. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, dancing on a Friday night. I do love this song. It's so very innocent. And they did in fact shoot a video for it, which is halfway between funny on purpose and just kind of stupid by itself. But for some reason, it never got released. Could you fall for me? Oh, the way I fell for you. I don't know why, I really loved it. It's actually the sincerest and least jokey of their songs. which is a shame because it was clearly more in line with what the people wanted than Love Is Only a Feeling. Look, it even continues the story from the last video. And like I said, it's not hard to tell why we dropped them so quickly, they just look like a novelty. But in the UK, they were a big deal.
Best British band. Oh, my favourite band, The Darkness.
Is presented to the darkness.
Oh my god, it's Permission to Land the Darkness.
They were poised to go all the way. They even had a Christmas song that was huge. Can't pretend I wouldn't mind hearing this on the holidays rather than the billionth airing of Wonderful Christmas Time. Tragically, it did not become the UK Christmas #1. It lost out to Gary Jules' overrated Mad World, which I think is kind of funny, but mostly kind of sad. But then their second album happened. This is One Way Ticket to Hell and Back, the title track from their second album. To be clear, I still like the band at this point, but yeah, maybe they were overdoing it at this point with the comedy. I mean, get it? One-way ticket to hell and back? One-way tickets don't go to a place and back, you dummies. But for all the criticism they got for being over-the-top, obnoxious irony peddlers, Justin Hawkins was out to prove that his love of glam metal was entirely authentic by adopting a completely sincere, totally unironic, classic rock-style cocaine problem.
You eat ginsters every fortnight and take loads of drugs.
And for a joke band, he also started getting way too big for his spandex britches. He started talking shit about every other British band that existed at the time. Just like everybody, he called Pete Doherty from the Libertines a waste of space junkie, which, that's hypocritical, although absolutely true. Naturally, there was a lot of drama going on in the band. They've been pretty tight-lipped about the details, but apparently it was pretty bad. Eventually, Hawkins checked into rehab, and the first thing he did once he got clean and sober was leave the band. The official statement from the band was that they were in a spin, but everything would be A-okay. Literally, that's in the press release. Well, the remaining members of the band kept at it. They changed their names to the Stone Gods. Bass player started singing lead. They got decent reviews, I understand, but quite frankly, I was not impressed. This is the kind of stodgy, boring rock music that made people start forgetting about rock and roll. This is exactly the opposite of what made The Darkness so great. And Justin did some solo work, but eventually, yes, good news, they got back together. After a 5-year hiatus, Hawkins apparently felt stable enough to bury the hatchet, and they have reunited. Their time in the superstar spotlight is gone, obviously, but I have a feeling they're one of those bands who will be able to keep playing for as long as they want, enjoyed by a good crowd of loyal fans. In 2012, they even opened for another glam-loving act, Lady Gaga, which makes way more sense than it should. And they're a remarkably consistent band. You know, like AC/DC or the Ramones, they know what they're about, and they just keep making kick-ass music for as long as they can. You like throwback cock rock with an over-the-top falsetto? Well, have I got a band for you. Yes. It is not hard to figure out why The Darkness didn't stay huge. They were treated like a novelty. They treated themselves like a novelty. But they were still awesome. I don't expect them to ever have another hit, and quite honestly, even if this were the only song they ever released, I'd be fine with it, because it's just so perfectly them. The Darkness. Rock on.